Hello there, this is Smith Welding and Restoration. I am your host, Adam Niffen. Stick around, see what's in the garage this week. Okay, here we are. We got a Grand Prix, 99 Grand Prix. We're doing a fuel pump. This is a Boneyard fuel pump. This is a car lot car. It's up under there. Can y'all see that? It's up under there. It's not drop a tank. You take those speed nuts off there. What do you got? 7 of them. And that uncovers everything you need. First order of business, we want to disconnect these connectors here and these fuel lines. You got a push, a pull, and a vent, basically. So that's where we're at. It's supposed to function and work. Let's see. Okay, so here I am, all squished down in here. This has some kind of sealant to it. It took a little bit to pop up, but I got pop ups for the most part. There you go. That's where your fuel pump's at. You can see all the shit that's on there. I'm gonna have to actually bring a cord out here and shop back, because I gotta vacuum up all that dirt that's settled on top. That's a serious issue. So I'm gonna go get a shop vac and a cord, and then next is I'll show you the snap ring that's down inside of there, and basic removal. You're in the trunk, okay? Don't forget that you're in the trunk here. You're in the trunk on this particular operation. If you got a helper handy, that's great. In fact, I think my buddy Lundbar may have just run off for the vacuum for me. If you got a helper, that's great. Getting in and out of these bastards. You know, I'm only 35. And it gets rough crawling in and out of something like this repeatedly. You try to get everything gathered up. Have towels handy. You don't want to dump this fuel all over the rug that's down here or into the spare tire bay, because you're going to smell that throughout the car. If nothing else, if this is for your purposes, for your individual driver, you're going to make yourself and your passengers sick. If you're trying to sell it, well, it's tough to sell a car that smells like gasoline. So we're going to get this vacuumed up. I'll show you there's a snap ring down inside of there, so I'll have to get my snap ring pliers out to get at that more than likely. And I didn't bring those with me. So no matter what, I'm getting out of this here in a second to go get the vacuum, snap ring, pliers, and we'll be back. Okay, here we are back. I vacuumed all that out as far as I could get it. I disconnected these wires. Now, I hooked it right there. I don't know. How do you guys like children's card games? If you don't pull this up and secure it some way, you're going to be playing Go Fish. Because it can fall back down in there, and then it's a fucking nightmare, and, you know, that's just how it is. So, I got trusty snap ring pliers. And there is a snap ring, oh lordy, right there. That's a snap ring right there. So you get that snap ring out of there, see how it traps it? Not a lot of tension on it. I probably don't even need the snap ring pliers, but I'll find the source. I gotta look at it. I haven't even inspected yet where the source of it, there it is. There's a source of snap ring pliers. Drop them in there. You drop them in there, pinch it, pull this out. This whole unit will lift right up out of there. It might turn. For the float, you're probably gonna have to tilt it. These are things you're not specifically gonna see because this is hard to video. I just want to give you the basic steps, show you how to do this in your driveway at home. I'm outside, it's not in my shop. If I had to drop the tank, I would have put it in the shop. for purposes. I can get on jack stands that won't sink in the dirt. I can use a jack to move things in and out. So, you know, we got the carpet pulled back. We got the cover off, which was 10mm speed nuts. We got everything vacuumed out so you're not dumping trash down into your fuel system. We got the electrical tacked up there. Next is going to be pulling those 3 lines. Snap ring, pull the unit. I may have to ask my sexy assistant over here to grab a couple grease rags to catch the fuel I'm going to dump everywhere, because I'm going to be soaked in it. We'll be back. Make sure you're well ventilated. So you got a little bit of gasoline there. This is the newish unit. Newish. Everything looks to match up properly, so we got the right one, it appears. There is sediment down there, but we don't really give a damn. All gas tanks have sediment. Probably shouldn't smoke, though. It's really funny to fucking smoke a cigarette as you're pulling a fuel pump. It really fucks with people. I didn't say it was smart, I just said it was funny. Chances of igniting gas, I could drop a lit cigarette down in there right now and it wouldn't go whoom on me. Am I willing to take that Pepsi challenge? No. I'm stupid, not dumb. Okay. So we're going to get this nestled back down into its position. Those are kind of a bugger to get out there under the car like that. I wound up using a small pair of these and one of these. I use this thing for almost everything, but I could get it on each side of the line and pry it apart and pry that apart. So it worked really well for me. This panel pop tool is about the most ubiquitous tool in my toolbox. If I had to pick the favorite, I think this one's the most used. I don't know, that's my favorite. So we're gonna get this nestled in there and I'll show you. We're gonna go through the testing, all that. There you go. When you set those down there, they're spring loaded. They're spring loaded, and how you drop it in, you want to pick it up and wriggle it just a little bit. There's a tab that aligns it in the cap. There's a little tab that aligns it. Get these lines lined up on the mark as you're sliding it in. You can pick it up and move it around a little bit. Get those slid on mostly, and then you can pick it up, and don't just stuff it in there and call it good. Pick it up and move it around. Move it around a little bit, up and down, wriggle it. It'll eventually settle in its position where it belongs. If you just jam that fucker in there, there's a chance that you'll hang up the sending unit, or it'll be off, or it can cause you issues immediately, not down the line, but immediately, where the fuel pump doesn't read right, you know, the fuel gauge doesn't read right or something like that. So now that I got a slight headache from being in a trunk with an open gas tank, we got it hooked up, everything's snapped. Listen for that audible click. If they don't click into place, you're going to shoot fuel everywhere. Before I button this up, I'm going to have to crawl in here one more time to put the lid and the speed nuts back on it. We're going to get this car started. Well, here we are. It runs. Is it going to stay running? Okay, at this point, if there's something wrong, we're going to be shooting fuel all over the trunk. Let's go ahead and take a look. It's all dry. There's no leaks. Can you hear it humming? Shh, you can hear it. Okay, folks, you've just officially, professionally replaced your fuel pump. Alright folks, Grand Prix is one of the easiest fuel pumps you're going to deal with. It's in the trunk, it's easy access. I showed you pretty much all the steps. Snap ring pliers really aren't necessary for this operation. You don't want to go out and get special snap ring pliers. Just something to pry that ring loose. It's got about that much play in it. You got to pat down on the top of the pump to seat there's a rubber O-ring that seats in there to seal the fuel pump in the fuel tank. Tap that down and you just chase that ring all the way around. Check your connectors, make sure they're clean before you connect them, snap them together. If you're really extra super cautious, put a little dielectric grease on all of your electrical fittings. Just a dab will do. You overload it, it does the same thing as having corroded fittings. Check your fuel line snap clips. You can replace those. They are available. Make sure it's well ventilated. I don't want anybody out there getting hurt. You know, I'm showing you how to do this at home to save. And you go to a shop. Last time I was running a shop and I had all data. These jobs, the new fuel pump locally over the counter is $225. So you figure shop's gonna pay about $175 to $2. They're gonna charge you $350 to $4 for the pump. That books out a minimum of 1 hour, probably an hour and a half, through the all data. Find your local mechanic's rate. Low side generally is $75. So you just paid $400 for the fuel pump. You can buy for $200, or you know, if you're in a pinch, go buy one at the junkyard for $50 or $75. They'll pull it for you and provide you. They cut the hoses, they cut the connectors and everything back because they don't want to be liable for those fittings being fouled up when you get it. So they chop everything off in front of it. So you have extra fittings and things like that too if you need them. But we're looking at a $500 to $700 job. You can do it in less than an hour. If you have to use parts, then so be it. Go for it. No judges here. You got to get back on the road. We're all going somewhere. This goes back in there on top. It's like you were never in there. Shit, and it's cleaner than it was when we started. Remember, these GM products also, let me show you something. Little side note. BC/CC, base coat, clear coat. That's your base coat. That's your clear coat. That's all your options. Okay? The VIN, and then all the options that go with the car, all the things that make this car uniquely.